Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Write or Die Show. I'm your host, Randi-lee. Today, it's very sunny and beautiful out, which is great because it was very cloudy and gross yesterday. If you have not already hit the like and subscribe button, do it now. Obviously, we are getting up there finally. It took time, but we're getting there. We're getting there. There was something I was gonna say, and now I don't remember what it is. So it's gonna pop into my head randomly, and then I'm just gonna shout it out. I don't remember. Life, life. Anyways, so we're just going to get started because I don't remember now. So with us today, we have Dianna Gunn. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I am pretty good, although I will say over here it is in fact quite cloudy and just not like really raining, but drizzling, which I find worse than really raining. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
commit.
we had that on Sunday, so it's only fair to share. I have been told by my grandson, sharing is caring. So, where are you visiting us from?
I am in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, you're like 2 hours away. I didn't know that. I'm just in Niagara, so
Oh yeah, that's pretty close.
yeah. I go to Toronto all the time. Um, except right now during the World Cup. Heck no. Oh my gosh, I could not even imagine the traffic. Like it's bad on a regular day. I could not even imagine right now.
Yeah, the worst thing was the very first game that they had started at 3 o'clock, which meant that as it was ending and everyone was leaving, it was already the worst time of rush hour. I
Yeah.
thankfully work from home, so I didn't have to deal with that, but I was just like, I feel so sorry for everyone who's going home from their office jobs and dealing with already like the bad traffic, and then also this additional traffic from the game.
Yeah, no, I tap out. I would not be doing it. I'd be like, I just quit. I quit. Done.
Just calling in sick for this week.
Right?
Or these
Exactly.
specific, 4 days. Don't look into it too closely.
Right? It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit else about who Diana is.
All right. I write fantasy and horror. Most recently, I released Woman of Sorrow and Blood, which is a gothic horror novel, and I've done some anthology stuff, a few different novels. I write murder commissions where I kill people in really fun and exciting ways. Basically, you can hire me to write a death scene for you,
That's
and
kind of fun, actually.
it's so much fun. I've done about 40 or 50 of them so far, and one of my books is actually just a collection of the murders I've done.
That's
And
that's
the joke
funny.
is that it's real people, fictional murders.
Right, right. Okay, so that's what you do, but who are you in your soul?
I mean, my writing is my soul. I decided I wanted to be a writer when I was 8 years old. I've always loved stories. There's nothing else for me really. I mean, there are other things I love, of course. I love my cats. I have three.
Yes, kitties.
I
What do they look like? What colors are they?
so I have an orange and a tuxedo, and they're both sleeping on the bed beside me out of view.
Love it. Aw.
And then I have the littlest, fluffiest black cat you'll ever meet in your life. She
Aw.
weighs like 8 pounds. She is really little.
Oh, I
And
love
she's so
that.
fluff.
See, that is much more important than anything else right there. So did you grow up in Toronto or did you move there?
I grew up here.
Okay.
I like to say I've lived on every side of Toronto, but never outside of it, which is almost true. I've never actually lived in North York.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I have lived in Scarborough and Etobicoke, which, for those not familiar, are suburbs so deep that there are arguments about whether or not they actually qualify as Toronto,
They
especially
do
where I
to
grew up
everyone
in
else.
Scarborough, because it was like deep, deep, deep Scarborough. You were like almost in the next town over.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, never outside of Toronto. I
I couldn't.
daydream about moving to Scotland, but the
That would be pretty.
paperwork and the
Right?
money,
Right?
it's too
Money.
much.
I could never live in Toronto. My cousin moved up there like, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago now. She's old. Um, And I could not imagine living there. Although she does have a cute little house that they found finally, but like when she first moved there for university, she like lived in Toronto. And I'm like, oh, no, no. Anyways, I digress always. So, I always like to say to the guests, you start your story wherever makes the most sense, and then I'm going to randomly interrupt you when I have questions.
Yeah, so like I said, I decided I wanted to be a writer when I was 8 years old. Basically, up until that point, I had kind of just in my head, I thought that, all writers were like old people. And I didn't really like understand the concept of like, no, you could actually be like writing books from a young age and like actually it could be like your job and not just something you did when you were old and had nothing else to do. And then I decided I wanted to do that. And I wrote my first NaNoWriMo when I was 11 years old.
Wow.
And I did win. And right when that happened, my dad was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, not
Like it
cool.
was basically like a 1-2 punch in like 24 hours.
Oh, jeez
Um,
Louise.
yeah. It was like, oh, I finished my book. Oh, we're rushing your dad to emerge. Oh,
Oh,
cancer.
oh.
Um, and then it was about a year pretty much to the day that he was sick. Um, and then he passed away.
So you would have been about 12.
Yeah, I
Aw.
was I was pretty freshly 12 because my birthday's at the end of August, so had only been 12 for a couple of months.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Yeah.
yeah. So as you can imagine, I had a very rough go of things from there.
Yeah.
Um,
So did you do anything specific to help you grieve?
I mean, I actually wrote a lot of poetry, and it's interesting the way the brain works because I filled, 3 or 4 notebooks with poetry in sort of the year my dad was sick and then the like year or two after my dad was
Mm-hmm.
sick. And then I just sort of stopped writing poetry, and I literally was not able to write poetry for over a decade, almost 2 decades after the fact.
I find it so funny because yeah, I write poetry when I'm dealing with emotions, but if I'm just like I'm gonna write some poems, nope.
Yeah, I like wrote a poem for the first time in, almost 20 years. Like, I think it was like 2 years ago, and I was like, is this a good sign that I've reached like a certain point of healing, or is this a bad sign that my mental health is actually way worse than I think it is right now?
A little column A, little column B.
Yeah, especially with the way the world has been. These 2020s, they've been rough.
They have been interesting, yeah. Huh. Okay, so you're 12, you're writing, you're dealing, you're figuring out who the heck you are and fit into the world, because that's just what you do at that age. Where do we
Yeah.
go from here?
So, I mean, after that, it's a long, messy story.
That's what
I
we're
ended
here
up
for.
uh, not being able to live with my mother. It was very much a mutual agreement that we could not stand being in the same apartment anymore.
Did you live
Um,
together up till that point?
yeah.
Okay.
So I lived with both of my parents. Oh, this is the other thing. I lived with both of my parents until my dad got sick. But a couple of months before my dad got sick, my parents told me they were separating. They hadn't actually like physically separated yet when he got sick because,
Yeah.
moving and like
Yeah.
all of that stuff is really complicated. But so in that year, I also started living separately with each parent for the first time and moved out of the neighborhood I lived in my entire life, which was actually like the blessing because I hated that neighborhood so much.
Okay, okay.
I was bullied so much. It was just a terrible, terrible place for me. And because neither of my parents drove due to disabilities,
Mm.
and we were kind of poor, there was nothing for me in that neighborhood. So I was very happy to
Okay.
leave it, but everything else was pretty rough.
Yeah.
And the situation with my mother was complicated. uh, my mental illness isn't entirely trauma based. Some of it is genetic,
Yeah.
from both sides, and And so eventually we couldn't live together anymore. So I went when I was 15 to live with my grandmother, who is a saint and saved my life.
All right. Dad's mom or mom's mom? I'm just being
Mom's
nosy.
mom.
Mom's mom?
Um, it's, I'm always kind of startled when people ask me that question because my dad's parents both died before I was born.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, dying young is just a thing on that side of the family.
Apparently. Well,
Um, but then I have to remind myself that there's no reason for people I just met to actually know that, so of course they're gonna ask.
right? Exactly.
Yeah, so my mom's mom, her name is Victoria. She is the most incredible lady. One of those boomers who was kind of a hippie in the 60s and actually didn't like forget all of that and become,
Oh,
the
that's funny.
stereotype of boomers today.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love that actually. I'm picturing it in my head.
Yeah. So living with her was great, and I kept writing. I always kept writing. Sometimes what I wrote changed. Like, I had that period where I was mostly writing poetry, and then I stopped writing poetry entirely and went pretty
Yeah.
much entirely back to books. But I never stopped writing. It was the one thing that really kept me going
Mhm.
through everything, through, all of the terrible relationships I had in my teens, which I don't even want to get into details. Let's just say they were bad.
We made some bad choices.
Yeah, I dated
Okay.
some bad people and some people who were not bad people, but who needed like 5 to 10 years of therapy before they started trying to seriously date.
Okay, okay. I feel that, It's all
To be
good.
fair, I probably should have also had some very intensive therapy.
Right, exactly.
Um, Unfortunately, when, I was going through the very beginning of that, when my dad was sick and shortly after he died, I went through a couple of experiences where I was formed, which for the uninitiated meant I was put into an involuntary psych ward.
Yes, which I have
Um,
learned that in the States is a 5150.
yes. Um, I feel like formed is like more efficient to say. 5150 is like more efficient to write. It's
Yeah,
fewer letters, but formed just
exactly. Yep.
and those were really traumatic experiences, especially because they both happened in the hospital where my dad died.
Ooh. And there's like a
So,
bunch of different hospitals around Toronto. So like, come
yes.
on.
But the way it works is that they have to take you to the closest hospital. Like it's like the rules.
Right. Yeah.
So
Obviously,
like
our tax dollars can't like be efficient. Sorry, different
yeah, we
topic.
can't drive you an extra 30 minutes to a different hospital that's not gonna traumatize the hell out of you.
Right? No, no. We cannot
Uh,
be helpful.
our
Okay.
cops have more
Mhm.
important things to do, like go get donuts.
I've met very nice cops, but yes, there's not everyone is good.
Yes.
Anyways, we digress. So how old were you the first time you were formed?
I was 13 and I
Yeah.
was 14 the second time.
Yeah.
So I did not trust the mental health care establishment. Um,
Did you end up because you were that age, and I mean, I think you're sort of my age-ish, maybe. I don't know how it was exactly back then, but my kid has been formed. And so were you back then, did you just do a 72-hour hold or did they send you for like a week stay?
so the first time they actually let me out, that evening, I was there like all day, but they did let me out
Okay.
that evening. The second time they kept me overnight and they were going to keep me for the 72 hours, but I was non-compliant in a very specific way
Okay.
where I would only like literally all I would say to them was when can I leave? When can I call my mom? When can I call my boyfriend? Those were literally the only three things I would say to them. I refused to say anything else.
Yeah. And
Um,
clearly they didn't think you were a danger to yourself or others then.
yeah, in the end, what they came up with was we can't even begin to diagnose her here because clearly being here is worse for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened on the back end, but they didn't send me somewhere else. I don't know if that's because they're not allowed to or.
Oh, they definitely can. Again, speaking from more of the late 2000s ish, they definitely can.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is maybe when you were going through that, but nowadays they will. Because they would send my kid from the local hospital here. Um, and again, kids are different because the local hospital here has an adult mental health wing, whereas for the kids, they have to get shipped about. It's Hamilton, right? So Hamilton,
Okay.
which you would understand, but everybody else, like 45 minutes ish from us,
Yeah, it's
kind of in
halfway
between,
between us.
right? It's kind of between us. Um, and so they'd ship them there for usually a week before they'd be released.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that's a
Well,
now thing.
they didn't send me anywhere else. Um, and that might also be because this hospital, like yours, doesn't have a kids ward, whereas this one did. So maybe
Exactly.
that's why they're doing that. But if they have a kids, like I don't know. I
Exactly.
don't know the
There's
back
some
end.
differences. I mean, even though we're
Um,
only 2 hours away from each other, there's some differences.
yeah, but they scheduled one follow-up appointment for me, which am I allowed to
One?
swear?
Wow. Yes, you may.
So basically, I just bullshitted my way through it because I didn't want to deal with any of that
Mm-hmm.
again, because I did not trust any of the
Mm-hmm.
authorities involved.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel you.
so instead of scheduling more follow-ups, they just let me go because I can be a very efficient bullshitter when I want to be, you know,
Yep.
being hyperlexic, neurodivergent, who's very good with words.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You say what they want to hear, and then they're like, "Oh, you're fine," and then you're not.
Yeah. Um, but I have always been a person who was very like I need my freedom of movement.
Yeah.
Even in my absolute worst state, the absolute worst thing you can do to me, my dad's death notwithstanding, is put me in a hospital, like lock me into a space. I
Mm-hmm.
need to be able to move. And that was part of what kept coming up with my mom was, yeah, I mean, I was definitely also being out much later than I should have been at that age, but like it was I need to be able to escape. I need to be able to go for, a walk at
Mm-hmm.
maybe later than technically I should be out, but sometimes literally it was all I was doing was walking to physically reduce the stress. And
Okay.
because that is one of my like main modes, there was no way being locked into a psych ward was going to help me,
Yeah.
even without the concerns about the authoritarianism and abuse that does happen
Yeah.
unfortunately in some of these places.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then they let you out again. Then what happened?
I never went back. Thank all of
Yay!
thank all of the gods. Um, I I started going to parties. Um, I did a lot of drugs.
Boo.
Um, I had a lot of fun. I had some concerning experiences, but I do think the fun outweighed um, everything else.
Okay.
And I effectively like dropped out of school for 2 years because
Again.
I just
Boo.
went to a really terrible school and there weren't a lot of options. So the unfortunate thing about alternative schools, so I live in Toronto. There's actually quite a few alternative schools in this city,
Okay.
but you basically can't get into any of them in grade 9.
Yeah.
You have to either be 16 or have all your grade 9 and 10 credits because they only teach 11 and 12 courses.
Okay.
So at a certain point I figured that out and I knew that like the typical school environment was doing more harm than good for me. So, the
Yeah.
last few months that I wasn't really going to school, it was literally just waiting out to be 16 to be able to get into an alternative
Yeah.
school.
That's
And then when
funny.
I finally got into alternative school. I did school in like the regular number of years.
Yeah.
Um, so, I graduated late, but you could make the argument that I still did high school in 4 years. I
Yeah.
just had an in between stage there.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because my husband kind of did the same thing where regular school just not for him, so he kind of dropped out because he had to be 18 to do the adult school. And then as soon as he did, he went through it, done.
Yeah, exactly. Like I loved learning. It wasn't that I wanted to not be in school. It was that the specific kind of school environment that was available to me
Yeah.
was not conducive to me actually learning or
Yeah.
enjoying my life.
Right. I just skipped a lot. My mom's rule was you can't fail. So my friend would just bring me all the homework and I just never went. But and that's the thing. That's why we need all of these different ways because people don't learn the same way. And to fit us into a box doesn't work.
Exactly. Like I understand, the reason that mainstream education exists the way it does, but we need an overhaul to what that is,
Oh,
for
it's so
sure.
bad. We don't need to pump out factory workers anymore. We need to pump out creative problem solvers now.
Exactly. We need schooling to really be about critical thinking and creativity and all these things that it's not about unless you're very lucky with the teachers you get in
Yeah.
mainstream school.
Yeah, yeah. School was designed so long ago that it has not kept up with the change in our environment. It's not the industrial age anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And the first alternative school that I went to, which I went to for 3 years, and I did most of my schooling there,
Oh, okay.
um, was, you know, it was structured very much like a school with some more flexible things in the schedule. So one thing that was really cool that they had was they had like half credits. So like you'd
Oh,
take a
okay.
course for the full semester, but you'd get a half credit every semester. So if you know,
Okay.
you get really sick or you have some kind of crisis and you're not able to attend for a chunk of time in the second half of the semester, you don't have to retake the whole course.
Oh,
You can
that's
just retake part of
nice.
it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
So other than that, it was mostly still a fairly typical school experience with, certain changes that were implemented by the teachers. My history teacher, I took literally every course that he taught. He modified the curriculum here and there. When we did the Canadian history course, he made the unit on Indigenous peoples much larger, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And the teachers were generally just like a lot friendlier and easier to converse with, but it was still mostly a regular school
Mm-hmm.
environment. And then for my last year of high school, I went to Oasis Skateboard Factory.
Okay.
Oasis Skateboard Factory was at the time, I don't know if this is still true, it was the youngest alternative school in the city, and it was an entrepreneurship program where you learn how to make buttons, stickers, t-shirts, skateboards, and you learn how
Oh,
to build a brand around it. It's almost like a college level like graphic
that
design and
sounds
marketing program.
fun.
It was so fun. The teachers were incredible. We had a great time. And, you know, that was so much more my speed. I actually ended up doing a victory lap extra semester because I loved it there so much. I really enjoyed making stuff.
Yeah.
And I really love the teachers. I still, I don't miss being in high school, but I miss those teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. So then after um graduate, where did we go from here and how are we feeling mentally? You still at grandma's house?
So actually, I met my spouse, the summer before I did that victory lap.
Okay.
And at the time, my grandmother lived in the boonies, but, uh, OSF was downtown,
Okay.
and I also had a job downtown, and my partner lived downtown, so I sort of accidentally moved in with them.
Love that.
And then it became intentional.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm extraordinarily grateful to have them in my life to this day. Celebrate 13 years or not next month,
Wow.
but at the beginning of August.
Oh, that's exciting. I love that.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work out that way, especially with uh traumatizing history.
Yeah, we've definitely both got our fair share of traumas, and we've had to go through some things. We've been through a lot together, but it's definitely a case of there are a lot of things that would have split other couples up that have only made us stronger, you know?
That's good. Oh, I love that for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we came here, and we've actually been in this apartment for 11 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
And I'm never moving because we have rent control, which means
Oh,
we're paying very
okay.
affordable.
Especially in Toronto. Okay, I got you. I got you.
Yeah. There was a certain point a couple of years ago where it was like, it would be kind of nice to have a little more space. I would love to like have an office. Um, but you look at the rents in Toronto and it's
That's,
like
yeah, no.
we'd be paying like $600 to $800 more a month to
Yeah.
move into a place half the size.
Yeah.
So,
I know what it is down here and it's obnoxious. So there, no. Mm-mm.
yeah, you don't want to think about it.
No. No. I might vomit a little bit. Um okay. So how have you managed to that's a weird wording. Anyways, you'll get what I mean by the question. How have you managed to kind of cope and deal with all of these different things from the past to be this wonderful kitty cat mommy? Because you have 3 kitty cats, and that's the most important thing.
Sometimes very badly, sometimes very well. So before we moved into this place, we very briefly had to rent a room from this girl I went to high school with. And one day she says, so basically it was like a shared property. She lived in one of the rooms, and the
Okay.
place belonged to her grandmother, but her grandmother didn't speak a lick of English, so she did all of the like intermediary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one day this girl says, well, there are these two kittens, and my grandmother told me I can only keep one. Do you want a kitten? And I'm like, we're renting a room that's barely big enough for us. I don't know, but I'm gonna meet the kitten.
Obviously.
Because of course you're gonna meet the kitten.
Yeah, it's a kitten.
And she was struggling like mad in the this girl's arms. She jumped. Picked her up, and she was a little better in my arms. But then my partner got home, and Artemis immediately jumped into their arms and started purring. So,
Oh, the kitty picked her.
yeah,
The kitty
uh,
was all about that. Oh my gosh.
yeah. So, and then my partner says to me, I want to name her something that will make her a huntress. And I was like, well, if we named her Diana, it would be awkward, so we should name her Artemis.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love everything
Um,
about that.
and that was really like, that was such a needed time. That place was awful. Everything about that 6 months was awful. My partner had appendicitis, and like, it was a really rough time. But we got this beautiful cat who's still with us. That's our little black one.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and we always wanted more cats.
Yeah.
You know, we've always loved cats, and they're just magical creatures, you know. You can be having the worst day of your life, and then you pet a cat and you feel so much better.
Right?
And like
Exactly. Everyone go get a cat. Just go do
whenever
it.
I'm feeling like a failure, and then one of my cats cuddles me, I'm like, well, at least I've gotten one thing right. All of my cats love me and love to cuddle me, and they're all happy.
Aw.
Um, and
That
I've
is the
accomplished all of
best.
these other things, but sometimes it's really hard to see your
Mm,
own accomplishments. That's probably the thing that I struggle with most now, is
mm-hmm.
just like, especially doing creative work when you live in capitalism. Like, it's so hard to feel like you're accomplishing anything when you're not making a lot of money.
Yes, very much so. Because a lot of what people define success as comes down to how much money you make. And I feel like those are two different things, you know? Just my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And like, but it's not just that. It's like when you're struggling financially, even if you are successful in so many other ways, it's hard to see anything past the financial struggle because
Yeah.
everything in life in this craptacular society we've built is based on money.
Yes. Yes. Very much so. Um, we're starting to wind down the episode. Very sad. Um, so what would you say has been some of the most helpful things you've done to deal with stuff? Wow, I don't have words, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
That's okay. I have words left. I haven't used up my daily allotment yet.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have.
sometimes when I finished a really long day, because my day job is also writing, it's like tech writing. So sometimes
Okay.
at the end of a long day, when I've done my tech writing and then I've worked on my book, my partner will ask me a question, and I just look at them and I go, I'm sorry, I don't have any words left.
Exactly. That's where I'm feeling right now because like I went to work and then we had a meeting for my kid for some different services and now I'm just
No, these days they can be long, but I would say, I mean, obviously, cats or, really any pet that you can cuddle. If you prefer dogs, that's fine. Um, but like having a small furry creature that like adores you and will cuddle you is like such a great thing. The other nice thing about cats is that like they're really good at like disrupting capitalism by just like sitting on you and making sure you don't go anywhere or do any work. It's just like, no, this is cat time and you're gonna relax whether you like it or not.
yeah. Yeah. They're very needy that way.
Yeah.
Demanding.
How um other things that have helped a lot is having a regular journaling practice. Sometimes, like, all I do in my journal is literally just write out my accomplishments from the day and then my to do list for the next day. But that A helps me sort of actually feel like I accomplished something at the end of the day, and B, it reduces. You know that thing where you go to bed and then you spend like an hour just thinking about all the things you.
Oh, yes, my life. Yes, yes.
Yeah, doing that like brain dump of all the things that I have to do the next day in my journal, like shortly before I go to bed, hasn't like fully cured me of that problem, but it's definitely reduced the amount that happens.
Okay. That is good because that is frustrating.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
artist's way, there's like the morning pages, which is to do your brain dump in the morning.
Mm.
But I'm not even awake enough to have a brain until like an hour after I technically woke up.
Right? So how
And
can you dump it when you don't have it yet? It doesn't make sense.
exactly. So I find the nighttime brain dump. I usually throw on some familiar TV in the background while I do it.
Yep.
Um, and
I
just do
like
the
having
nighttime
that
brain dump.
noise.
Yeah. Um, I also got diagnosed with ADHD when I was 29.
Oh,
Shout out to
okay.
every person that ever missed it because I was not a boy.
Right? I
Um,
know. Autism in my 30s, so
and
got
it's
you.
not even the mind-boggling thing is it's not even that it's because my ADHD presented in like the inattentive female way. I have mixed ADHD. If I had been a boy behaving in the ways that I was behaving when I was a young kid, I almost certainly would have been tested for ADHD,
Yeah.
but I was not.
Yeah.
Um, so having that diagnosis has been great because A, it, gives me the ability to look up all of the things. I haven't really done any like ADHD specific therapy, but there's so many free resources on the
Oh,
internet now
so many.
to help you learn how to cope. And also the medication has been pretty great. So it's not magic. There are still days where I'm like, I feel like I didn't. I know I took it, but I still like can't focus, or I just can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, but most of the time it makes it a lot easier for me to get through like the really banal parts of my day, which is what I
Oh,
really
yes.
been the biggest difference for me, is that it's so much easier to get myself to do things like my taxes and cleaning my house. Well, okay, maybe a little less cleaning my house, but like those things that are really tedious are
Yeah.
much easier now that I am medicated. So shout
Okay.
out to the doctors that figured out that you should give people with ADHD stimulants.
Right? It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Yeah,
I think
it's pretty wild.
yeah. Okay. So that's some good solid coping things. Strategies, that's the word. Um
Yeah. Oh, and one more I will
Yeah,
say.
do it.
Um, Killing things in video games.
There you go.
People
Yeah.
say that video, like the concerned parents are like, video games cause violence, and I'm like, no, 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 no. When I want to commit real violence, I get those urges out by playing video games, and it actually prevents me from doing real world violence.
Right? There's some pros to it, all right?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure
a healthy
there's
outlet.
cons, but there's pros.
Yeah, as
That's
long as you
good.
don't let it take over your life, it can be a very healthy outlet for
Yes.
your anger, and there's some really, really great storytelling in a lot of games, especially these days.
I know that's the part that I actually hate about it. I just want to like do the level. I like things like Mario. Let me just do the level and just go to the next level. I don't even like when they did when 64 came out with like that Mario 64 and it was all 3D and you could run and do whatever way. I'm like, "No. I want levels. I want to go this is 1, this is 2, this is
See, and the great thing is that there are games out there for every style of gamer.
Yes.
I'm an RPG girly through and through. I'm the girly who's got 600 hours in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, my kid loves those. Like, she's obsessed with Fallout. My husband loves sports games. And then I'm like, give me some Mario or Cat Quest. Now that Cat Quest is a thing, I like that RPG.
Cat Quest is so good.
Oh my gosh, I love it. When I first got like Cat Quest 1 way back when, I got it on sale on the thing for like $5. I'm like, oh, it's about a cat. Obviously, I want to do it. It's a cat. They're running around. And then the next one comes out. And it's really good. And then the next one comes out. And you're like, wow, this is amazing. But also, I'm paying like a full price for it now. I tried it as kind of a joke type deal way back when, and now I'm like, yes, I will. Here, take my $90. It's fine. Just
Yeah,
take my
we
money.
game on our PlayStation, because if I work from home, if I gamed on my computer, I would never work.
Yes.
But so we have the PlayStation Plus, so we got Cat Quest 2 free as part of that.
Oh, there you
So then
go.
I didn't feel so bad paying for the other games, because I was like, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
solidly invested at this point. This is good stuff.
obviously.
And I think we
Right.
got the first one on sale for like $7 or $8 too.
Right. That's how they
Yeah.
get you. And then I'm like, yes, take all of my money because I am so excited for this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a Switch. So I'm a Nintendo girl at heart. My husband, he likes his PlayStation, but I am a Nintendo girl.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yes, video games can be very good. So I always like to kind of end this portion with a question. What would you tell somebody who is struggling with, and I'm going to pull something randomly out of our conversation, somebody struggling with helping their kid through school?
Oh goodness. I mean, I very
Yeah.
specifically avoided having kids. So I don't really feel qualified to give parenting advice, because my
This
whole
is
thing
not parenting
is
advice. It's
I'm
wisdom from your
breaking
past.
I'm breaking generational cycles by not having children.
Wisdom from your past simply about your
Um,
experience with school.
but honestly, I think that the biggest thing is just listen and actually believe that your kid actually understands what's going on. Um,
That's a
Kids are
good one.
smarter than we tend to give them credit for, and more self-aware than we tend to give them credit for. And yeah, there are certain things that, a lot of people don't realize about themselves or learn later, but like the core of who you are, kids generally know that, and especially kids who have gone through really severe trauma early on, that ages you. and that changes you, and you look at yourself and the world around you in a way that often people who haven't been through those, traumatic experiences don't until they're in their late teens. But, a 12-year-old who's been through the loss of a parent, or who's, who's had, difficulties that meant they had to care for other kids, or any of these things, that kid is going to have a very different perspective and a lot more self-awareness, and you should honor that and actually listen to what they're saying they need instead of deciding what you think they need.
I think you're more qualified to give that piece of wisdom than you give yourself credit for. Because
Fair
it's
enough.
all about the experience. That's why I don't say advice, because advice can be book learned, and book learned
Yeah.
is not. It has its place, however, lived experience. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
Um. All right. So now is your time to shamelessly self promote. What do you want people to do and spend money on?
All right. So, for folks who are into horror, I highly recommend checking out my most recent release, Woman of Sorrow and Blood. It
It's a
is
great
a,
title.
isn't it?
I like it.
It is a sapphic gothic horror. It is, it has a very strong romantic storyline, but I can't call it a romance because it is in fact a tragedy. So don't go in expecting a happy ending.
Kind of Romeo Julieted me there. All
Yeah.
right.
Um, And for folks who are more interested in something that still has some bits and pieces of horror but isn't full horror, I would recommend checking out Moonshadow's Guardian, which was my first dark fantasy book.
Oh.
And that's actually part of the Moonshadow Rising Duology. That's 2 books. They are both done. And I'm actually working on a spin off series in Moonshadow right now. That's probably what I'm going to do immediately after this podcast. So
Excellent.
check those out. And if you too are a writer, check out the Weeknight Writers community, weeknightwriters.com. We do a whole bunch of stuff. We have a mix of free programming and paid programming, and it's all virtual. We are very focused on fantasy, science fiction, and horror. We've got a few outliers who do other things, but that's our core community. And yeah, you can check us out there. You can also follow Weeknight Writers on Blue Sky. We host a weekly Blue Sky chat just at Weeknight Writers. And you can also check me out on Blue Sky, where I post way too much at Dianna Gunn. So just don't turn your notifications on for me, because you will regret it.
It's now back in the oven.
Okay. Did you put the garlic bread in?
Yeah.
I think you did.
I just wanted to let you know so that you can actually.
You
know.
put 15 minutes on a timer? Just go put it on right now.
I'm fine.
Thank you.
Oh, I made garlic bread, and now I'm jealous.
Yeah. I had popped some lasagna into the oven before we started. And I said to my kid, she just interrupted us, but that's okay. She's being very responsible. I was like, at 45 minutes, can you take because you gotta take the thing off and then put it back
Yeah.
in the oven. I'm like, so can you take it off and just put it back in the oven and pop the garlic bread all in at the same time? And yay! It's
No.
almost like I knew what I was doing today and planned well. That doesn't
Wow.
happen very often. Okay, this is actually like marking on the calendar timing here.
I understand that for real. But now I
And-
might have to go to the grocery store and get some garlic bread.
And now my stomach is grumbling. It's like, yes, I want that so much. So I'm gluten free, and so to get lasagna, I have to go across the border, and so I don't get it very often. And when I go, I buy like 3 or 4, put them in the freezer. I'm just so excited.
I mean, I had to like backtrack for a second and be like, going across the border is like physically a lot easier for you than it is for me.
Yes. Yeah. I'm
But
like
then
10,
also,
10, 15 minutes.
How is crossing right now though?
I had no problems doing it, actually. I mean, not since the
Knock on
World
wood.
Cup started, but like we went a couple weeks ago to fill up on my gluten-free goodies. And it was fine.
All right, well, I'm glad to hear that, and I hope you continue to have completely uneventful trips to get your
Right?
gluten-free goodies, because
So get over there.
my aunt has celiac, and so,
Yes.
And she was diagnosed like 20 years ago. So I've seen like
The progression, yeah.
the progression of stuff that's become available.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
amazing.
yeah,
It really
it's much
is.
easier to have celiac now than it was 20 years ago, but it's still not easy. And like
No.
bread is all my favorite things, so I have so much sympathy.
Yeah, I think so. I always kind of hated bread, and I think that had to do with my knowing that every time I ate bread, I got really sick, and so it was just that association
Yeah, that's
with
fair.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, I would probably hate bread if it made me sick too.
right. But now I found some that is good. I don't know if delicious is quite the right word, but good. Um, but it's so damn expensive. Oi. Anyways, I know you kind of a little bit said where people can find you on Blue Sky, but where else are people going to follow you?
So that's pretty much it if you want to hear from me regularly. I've been trying to post on Instagram a little bit more specifically because I'm starting to do more local events. So
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram, I'm D_L_Gunn.
Okay.
And I post, I try for once a week. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes I do two in a week. But yeah, I'm not very active over there. So if you want to only occasionally hear from me, that's a good spot.
The more important thing, because Instagram is about pictures, do you post cat pictures? Because that is much more important than anything else. Like stuff.
I Instagram is purely a book promo account at this point. So if you want cat pictures, that is going to be on Blue Sky.
Got to work those into your book
Um,
promo. Come on.
I do. I need to get my cat napping on my books. But the
Yes.
thing is that sometimes he goes from napping on, like my orange cat really does enjoy using books as pillows, but also he's started doing this thing where he chews on the corners.
So
So
you just have to get some copies that are specific for that purpose.
yeah, maybe,
That's all.
in my next Amazon order, I'll have some copies that are like kind of bent. Hopefully not, but if I do, maybe I'll just use them for that.
Right? You just need some specific kitty cat stuff because that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Um.
And if folks prefer email, I do have a newsletter which you can access at
Oh,
authordiannagunn.com/fan-club. And I send out emails about once a month. Sometimes I go a little longer between, and sometimes if I have like a bunch of events, it'll be a little closer together.
okay. Very nice. Anything else before we say goodbye?
This was delightful, and I hope that we chat again. And who knows, maybe someday we'll actually meet in person. That would be neat.
Right? You're very, very close to me. You're one of the closest. Not the closest because I've met some in Hamilton and Niagara, but one
Yeah,
of.
it's funny because I did an interview 3 weeks ago with a lady in Peterborough, so now it's like equal distance on either side.
Right? What show were you on?
Um, I don't know if I should tell you that while we're live because I don't know if she's public about the city she lives in.
Okay, then yes, then
Because
we
we had
will.
that conversation before we started recording. So,
Okay, then yes, we will not disclose
yeah.
that because that's just mean.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Of course, share the episodes out. We talk about some very important things, and I think we have fun while we do it. I mean, I have fun. So.
I had fun.
Perfect. So share these out, like and subscribe if you haven't already, even though I already told you to at the beginning. And something very exciting, I finally updated my website. Oh, yay! Woo, woo. And there is now a page on there about the new movie that we are working on. So go check it out. I am attempting to continue to put updates on there so everybody can stay in the know of the movie because we are expecting release next year. And yes, we have not even filmed yet, but that's okay because we got this. We totes got this. If you want to support the movie, there is some ways that you can donate to it, and there's some little like you'll get credits and whatever. Just go and look. It's just much easier that way. Just do that. And remember, the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly. Bye.